The recent death of a Pretoria East pupil in a stabbing incident has brought back into sharp focus the issue of safety in schools. Two other pupils have been arrested in connection with the murder of 19-year-old Lethabo Mokonyane, and the two are said to have worn balaclavas to carry out the crime as Mokonyane was about to board a bus home. Following increasing violence against teachers and learners in schools, Gauteng Education has an ongoing Safer Schools campaign which seeks to eradicate dangerous behaviors in schools. But why do these incidents keep happening, and who should be responsible with ensuring that schools are safe spaces? SADTU National Spokesperson Nomusa Cembi and clinical psychologist Dr. Keitumetse Mashego join me now to weigh in. Good morning, ladies, and welcome to Newzroom Afrika.
Good morning.
Morning, Masitaba.
Now, I'll start with you, Nomusa. I mean, with the recent incident involving Lethabo, a very tragic incident indeed, which has raised concerns about safety in schools. What are your thoughts on this tragic event?
Masitaba, yes, it is very tragic indeed. First, let us, as a union, we express our condolences to the family of Lethabo, to the family, friends, and her colleagues at school, as well as the educators in the school. It is very sad indeed that this incident happened in a school, a place where it should be safe for the learners to be. It is very sad indeed. We are worried that these things still continue to happen. Yes, it is the responsibility of the department to ensure that schools are safe, the Department of Basic Education. However, we feel that it cannot be the Department of Education alone. Yes, the department has come up with policies. There's a national school safety policy framework that is there to ensure that schools deal with safety. But we feel that it should safety should involve not only the department, but also communities, parents, as well as police in the area. And as SADTU in the union, as a union in education, we have also put our foot forward with a campaign that we launched, which we called I'm a School Fan campaign, where we said it's not only all the stakeholders in education should take part and make sure that they support their schools like one would support a sports team. You know, when you support your sports team, you do all to make sure that that sports team wins. You are always saying positive about that your sports team's positive things about your sports team. You defend your sports team in every way. So our campaign says to all stakeholders, please be supportive of your schools. Do all you can to ensure that your schools are safe havens for everyone, for the learners, for the teachers, as well as the support staff in schools.
Now, Dr. Mashego, I'd like to bring you in here. In your role and your experience as a clinical psychologist, what are the underlying causes that lead to such tragic incidences?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Sadly, what's happening in our schools is, in the school system, is a reflection of what's going on in society. We're a wounded society, we're an anxious society, we're a violent society, and there's a lot of stresses that families have, that there's many social ills that we are facing. I mean, we can sit here and talk about things that South Africans are struggling with out there. So we really need to understand that we are actually in crisis mode because of what's happening in our school. So ideally, there needs to be ongoing interventions, not when there's a crisis, but whereby there can be screening, right, to see who's at risk, meaning the health system must be involved, where mental health challenges can be picked up and screened before they become a crisis. The bullies, there's issues that can be picked up before they become a crisis, such as, there's racism, there's a lot of violence, there's bullying in the schools. So the different systems systems, as indicated also by Nomusa, that they need to be a multidisciplinary intervention or team, dedicated to each school, ideally, but if not, access to this multidisciplinary team per district, where each school can have screening continually, right, before there is a crisis such as we're seeing now.
And now, Nomusa, to what extent, do underlying issues such as bullying or social pressures actually contribute to the levels of violence in schools?
Yes, they do contribute a lot, and yes, you find that, and the issues that when these things happen, sometimes the learners do not report. I think we need to work hard to establish, safe places for the learners to report such incidents as they happen before they escalate. You find that yes, there's bullying that happens inside the school, but you find, as Dr. Mashego stated, you find that there are also outside factors, as what happens in the school is a reflection of what is happening in the society. You find that in our societies, there's gangsterism that happens in communities, and you'll find it manifesting in the school premises. So that is why we are saying the solution to this does not only lie within the department, but lies with all the stakeholders, especially the communities, because communities play a vital role in ensuring safety, because what happens in the community is reflected in the school.
So, Doctor, how can schools and parents actually work together, firstly, to identify early warning signs of aggression or violence in children?
It's very key to always, the parents need to also be, parenting as well and present. And of course, with the current unemployment rate, we can talk about, as I said, so many stresses that parents themselves face, which they find themselves not always present, which is not an excuse, of course, but we really need to make sure as communities that children are not idling. You get after school, the children are just idling, they have nowhere to go. So we really need those community centers where they can do homeworks and also, do other things, hobbies, there's other things that children can keep themselves busy with. And in those places, have counselors then. It's understandable that maybe budget could be an issue, but maybe introduce counselors who can screen these kids and refer them when they pick up that there's a problem. We also have to understand that in the education system, the teachers are struggling, right? Some teachers have 90 students, and it's both, they're struggling both in the public and the private sector, where they are overwhelmed with admin. Disciplinary is an issue whereby, there's favoritism or there's inconsistency with dealing with discipline when it comes to the learners. So that also needs to be, consistent in all the schooling systems, so that if there's a problem, disciplinary action can take place consistently. But we also have to understand that teachers are not trained to be counselors. They cannot deal with the social issues the children bring to the school, right? So we really need to put in systems that can pick up on that and intervene professionally as needed. And also the legal systems to take place as needed, and the policing system as well. When things are reported, that action is taken, and bullying policies also need to be really implemented and stuck to by all the schools.
Nomusa, as a representative of SADTU, what measures do you think that schools and the education department can take to ensure the safety of learners?
A lot has been done. The schools now work with local police stations to ensure that that there are police who are there to support the schools. But we feel this is also not enough, because there was a system of adopt a cop system, which is not enough. In other areas, for instance, in rural areas, you find that there is a cop that has got to service more than about 5 schools each, and you find that cop cannot cope with so many learners. And in other areas, you find that the police station is too far away. We need more police visibility. We also need psychosocial services in our schools, Yes, we do have, but we find that they come in, they are reactive. We want to see proactive psychosocial services, just like Dr. Mashego had said. You know, they should come in and work with the learners and identify possible triggers before these things happen. But what normally happens that after a learner has been stabbed or a teacher has been stabbed or a violent incident has taken place in a school, then you will then find that social services will be brought in to counsel the learners, to counsel the teachers. And we feel it should happen before these incidents take place.
And Doctor, in closing, when an incident has taken place or if a parent does suspect that their child is being bullied, what sort of support can a parent actually provide?
I think it becomes key to get involved with whatever it is that's happening as a parent and communicate with the schools to see what measures that will be taken. And if it's not dealt with by the school, it's also important to know where to go to escalate the matter, but to also take the learner to clinical psychologists and social workers in that area. And I know people are of view that we're not there, but we are there in the public system. Just please go to the nearest clinic and just find out where the nearest mental health services are, and just to know so that the child can be assisted to process whatever emotion, self-esteem issues, confidence, and just anxiety and fear about being bullied, so that they are helped. Because at the end of the day, the bullies, sometimes it's a reflection of what's happening in their homes or their upbringing or whatever they are dealing with. So sometimes it's a poor prognosis, to get the bully to stop. But what we can do is to help the victim of the bullying to ensure that they are supported. If there's a need to move the learner, social workers can also be involved, and social workers can also, visit the bullying family as well, to ensure that their parents are also aware of what's happening and there's intervention, and to show that this thing is taken serious, because it does put the victim at risk for future mental health challenges.
All right. Thank you both so much for your time.